I bid farewell to such a summer that struck the mark for me at least. It began its course sky high over the east. On the clouds a sort of stain, it seemed to me that I could read the words, your life will never be the same again. Drowned within a secret world, of which I was not understand, all occurrences took place, the accident. At the same time somehow shown by an invisible hand, I put aside some images of clear contour. Summer on the tour. I see glasses on wooden tables, a worried woman in front of me. What she says is swallowed by the growling sea. She wears a dress direct from body, also a smile, a little bend, and on the last end is her life. She put an end, round into a turnaround, of which I was not understand. All occurrences took place, the accident, but also shaped and rounded up by an invisible hand. I fill my conscience with images essential. Summer, you were intentional. With now so many years ahead, on which I do not wish to thrive. Never in April ended summer, all my life. Though impossible to get weary, I didn't feel like being stirred. Grim Master Reaper, your dead loss you did not hurt. Round into a turnabout, at which I guessed both source and end, all occurrences unsuited for lament. An adventure that missed the mark, which initially I meant. Now the fate has judged the invisible hand. Summer, you were brilliant. Wu Wei, to act by no acting. That what makes the pressure on our souls so maddening nowadays is the feeling to be helpless, not able to influence the tiniest item, to find nowhere a string to pull on, and to be condemned to wait and do nothing, waiting. This was also my big personal problem during my whole work life. But the years passing by, observing the activity around and in me, I was getting more and more suspicious. Something happens anyhow, no matter what the blocking dark power on earth is trying to manipulate, no matter how perverted the falsely globalized economy is spreading. And all of a sudden, without any warning, a newer fruit is falling down from the everyday tree, where an awakened, co-human catches and uses it. Under the condition, of course, he was prepared for it, holding his hands permanently opened, direction sky well understood. The fruit, real change. The attitude, Wu Wei, to act without doing something. Expectation without pressure. Dedication, patience. The act of catching itself is even secondary, much more important, the previous passive, active part therein. Not the thirst for action is changing the world, rather the pure intention, silently, personally, in the life of every day. And all of a sudden, that hanged upside down man or woman, tarot card 12, mutes to a white rider, noble upon horse, but fully unidle too, even a bit nonchalant, just like Memling painted him, or that unknown Bambergian who sizzlated him soft in the hardest stone. I'm talking about those fancy and PRS heroes of the daily world in their simple human-to-human encounters, without a missionary art of preaching, doing simple good things in order to ensure goodness is in the world. They are the ones who feed the batteries continuously. From such sources flows a concentrated, patient, quiet force that unexpectedly and mostly in a remote place deliver the energy for a white rider to come in action convincingly. He also, without any allures, actually like a catalysator, a passenger by coincidence. That kind of power elements have in erudite name morphogenetic fields. Who does not know the story about 100 apes on that island who activated a switch towards a sudden change of the habits in the ape community? Yes, as if he put his ape finger on an interrupter. What functionates for apes will do it for humans too, isn't it? I hope. We should not judge us to be more foolish, retarded. Our problem, however, is that we are too much occupied with balderdash, what makes us blind for such kind of indication of change. That those power fields are real lately has been proved by scientists like Markus Schmieke, who developed a time waver based on the theories of Hartmut Müller. The pure intention, our strongest energy source. We should formulate it loudly or quiet in spirit, and afterwards walk through the day, through the offices, the schools, the factories, the leisure activities, the traffic, the friendships. Doing so, we shall build a stable fundament on which the white rider on his horse can trot or gallop without stumbling, quick-witted, at the right moment, on the right spot, to accomplish his golden act for the benefit of mankind. The white rider, indeed, also the one with black, yellow or red skin color. The last and the first scene, the last and first round table, families in spirit, the oikos, the cellular democracy, 12 apostles, 12 knights, 12 DNA helixes, yes. Tristan the honorable, Galahad the friendly, Lamoral the elegant, Bors the just, Gawain the good, Gaeris the sincere, Kai the modest, the Lancelot the brave, and Parsifal the spirited. Geraint the helpful, Garrett the factual, and Bedivere the gallant. Together, of course, with the convergent women. And Arthur, the eldest soul of them all, who cares that there is no hidden rivalry between them, but only agape, philia. Lehman Sisters. What would have happened if in the supervision boards around the globe the decision makers had been women instead of those macho men cluster clubs? Would the financial crisis have been erupting in such a devastating way, if at all? 20 years ago, I broke my brains about the important question of the relation man-woman, about women as such. In this context, I only wish to present the conclusionary remarks, which are: if a woman morally fails, an invisible hand involved by their inner yearning is holding them safe at last, like if it was a bungee jump exercise. Not the same outcome for men. They fall hard since they cut such sorts of bands before the game. Certainly, there are many questions left about this enigma of femininity, but even without having to occupy myself with them, I already scratch my right ear in deep ducts each time I look in the face and eyes of a woman. Goes, how went that again? In the first place, hidden in there is a divine spark. In the middle, like in man. Secondly, a highly individualized soul which could have incarnated behind a full-bearded face. And as a third, behind those friendly eyes, that feminine soul is imbued with a substance which one could call the etherized masculine flesh, whose power and dullness is strong enough to have to be scared of all the time, even when the eyes are laughing. Last not least, as an embedded basic an etheric psycho well is pouring out, only there, together with the mentioned vital spark, I can think myself in safety. Because even before I could feed some stupid macho thoughts, those etheric particles already did forgive me by assembling everything I have neglected till that moment, beginning with color and ending with joy, with angels' patience, and laying it before that feet of mine, me standing in my barren grey crevice in the rocks, in dull and windy haze. A complicated construction, such a woman's soul, isn't it? Why, wandering? That's how secret weapons always are. Yes, today I would certainly formulate it in a slightly different way, but still I am a believer. Women are God's secret weapons, and ever when a huge change is planned to be spread over space-time, their moment has come. Women are the educators of men. But just like he, she neither is resting in herself, nor balanced, the two of them. Still separate are they, separated, open wings of one roof, depending on each other. Did there ever exist in England a fiercer man than Margaret Thatcher? The rescue hope is not depending on the woman species in itself. What is important about that subject is the renewed integration of the femininity, and that is a fully different item. The public is as important as the singer. The roots equal in worth to the trunk and the branches. Then essential is that the fruits are growing on the tree, on the plant. So, Lehman sisters? If in the garden one is harvesting only foul apples, should it be a wise solution for the next season to put the trees upside down with the roots in windy heights? The cruel father. Once upon a time there was a village with a shoemaker and a bakery and an installateur. The shoemaker and his sons made a lot of selling, saving only that much as should be necessary to avoid becoming someone's burden in case of insolvency. All the rest of what they earned was dispensed on bread, vegetables, etc. So also the other members of the community had a good income and time. One day, a bricoleur traveled through the village, and with him a package of labor-saving machines and devices of all kinds of sorts. The father shoemaker decided finally to buy some of them and to reorganize his small fabric. As a consequence, the required effort of working power decreased considerably, but the income stayed constant. They decided to share it like brothers, just like before. And all the other crafts in the community were soon acting in the same way, the bakery, the installateur, and so on. So, time was available for the more important things in life, like interhuman understandings, and heaven looked on them with pleasure. Until the day the father shoemaker mutated to be a cruel one. He called all his sons around him and spoke, "Saving is power, and knowledge too," added instantly the eldest of the four. The next time the innovation engineer came along with on his wagon more new products, the father bought it all. And afterwards he spoke a second time to his family. "Now we need much less hard workforce than before. So only the eldest son will stay home. The other three shall travel into the world, and everywhere they arrive, they will do the same as we did here. And as a result, all people will get rich everywhere." So spoken, so done. And where the tree arrived, all manufacturers who saved lesser than had to disappear, cause in their ateliers the elder engines made it impossible to compete anymore. Soon there was a first world full of assembly lines, and a second, a third. From time to time the raven father, the cruel father, invited the eager television crews, showing them the secret of his success, adding always the one message: "May the whole world act like him. There is no alternative to the wealthy way. The sky is the limit." In that manner, misery was shunted elsewhere all the time. But the cameras did not show it. Too narrow were their lenses. And poverty increased and increased. After years, the father spoke to his eldest. "Son of mine, my extra costs are climbing higher and higher. I shall have to reduce your remuneration for the future. Sorry." The eldest one did not agree with that. So the father engaged a willing one from the fourth world, and he fired his son. Thereupon the eldest went to the third world, recruited the most willing ones of the fifth, and the following year the cruel father got bust. At almost the same time, all the sons discovered the charm of the remote financial gesture, far away from the boring battlefield of production. And as they remarked that the pie had begun to shrink, it was already too late. Then the devil couldn't hold his dirty laughing anymore. When pound technology took pinches of interest on interest, the whole stirred to one concoction and presented to the greedy villagers of the earth as a super meal. It had been that simple. He squawked and spitted scornfully in the ocean, polluted long before, spread his big black sack over the earth and disappeared towards hell. This was an excerpt of my private election poster for the WASG party for the Bundestagswahl 2003. Extra page. Why? Why an extra page? Not happy enough? That's not the problem, because everything is going the right way. Experiment successful, resurrection of the flesh and the substance on horizon. What make me suffer is the term self-induced collective ferocity. When the people is not able or not willing to recognize the best way of solving a civilization problem, on the other side profoundly wishes this problem to be out of the world, then a very narrowed way of catharsis is needed to be taken, with dull and painful experiences to undergo, since unconsciously they are wanted. The present polls about, for instance, the Greece and the peak states indebtedness are showing clearly that such an unpleasant future is about to arise, like an approaching train, like a rolling stone. The healing process from economical cancer cannot be started before the head, the caput, took his responsibility after having made up its mind. A government of blind German politicians is not capable to do that. Lesser still the French president, the French vain president, or the European Council, the Commission, or whatever, the Parliament. May it be as representative as possible. Only the inspired head, the caput, can do that. A regent for Europe and beyond. Bitter experience are near for us all. Is that necessary? Can we do nothing, perhaps, to accelerate? To rush into it is not a deal, but accelerate maybe is respecting the law of femininity. In searching an access to the vicinity, the entourage, for the caput's choice, only synchronicity is in charge, and this part is out of our human control. But the public, which is willing to invite the caput, him or her, or together, to get along and move on, that public is to be found now by us, we, the spiritual family, the oikos. I hope I'm not the only one to have such unusual ideas. So to reduce the societal instrumentarium onto a callous zero will perhaps not be necessary. Is that only a dream? Perhaps. Perhaps not. Since it could be that humanity is about to pass the bridge towards further dimensions, the fifth, the sixth, the seventh, and so on. If you ask me, I do believe that.